There are some people you meet, and it feels like remembering, not discovering, not learning, but remembering something ancient, something that was written into your soul long before this lifetime began. And when you look at them, it's not about how they speak or what they do. It's the feeling that something in you has been waiting for them, quietly, patiently, eternally. This is not infatuation. This is not obsession. This is recognition. And recognition cannot be manufactured or faked. It comes from something much deeper than the mind. It comes from the soul's memory, the part of you that still knows the blueprint of your fate. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, those meaningful encounters that appear random, but carry the weight of divine orchestration. And when that moment comes, when destiny calls, nothing can stand in its way. Comment: I believe in destined love, below if you believe this truth. But here's the paradox. When true love finally arrives, it does not always feel gentle. In fact, it can be the most terrifying thing you've ever felt, because it sees you, all of you. It reaches into your shadow, the part of you you've hidden even from yourself, and it says, I still want you. That kind of love isn't a comfort zone, it's a spiritual awakening. And most people, when faced with real love, run. Not because they don't feel it, but because they feel it too deeply. Jung spoke often of projection, the unconscious tendency to see in others what we cannot yet see in ourselves. And so we fall in love with someone not just for who they are, but for who they mirror within us. When that mirror is too honest, too bright, it burns, and many walk away from the fire, not knowing that it was meant to refine them. The soul does not care about timing the way the ego does. The ego says, I'm not ready. The soul says, but you are. The ego fears loss. The soul sees only growth. So when two souls are meant to meet, nothing external can truly stop them. Not distance, not fear, not even time. What delays the connection is not life. It's the inner resistance to what love reveals. True love is not just a union of bodies, it is the reuniting of archetypes, the Animus and Anima, the masculine and feminine within. And when those inner forces align, the outer world begins to reflect that harmony. The more one heals, the more they attract partners who mirror that healing. And when both are ready, the meeting feels like gravity, not force, just inevitable pull. But there's something deeper still. Sometimes, love arrives to awaken, not to stay. Some soulmates come like earthquakes, not to comfort, but to crack you open, to show you who you were pretending to be and who you truly are. That doesn't mean it wasn't real. It means it was sacred. Carl Jung would say that even separation is part of individuation, the process of becoming whole. Sometimes we meet the right person at the wrong time, not because of karma or punishment, but because their presence was meant to initiate a process within us. That heartbreak, that longing, that unanswered question, it's all part of your soul's curriculum. You were never abandoned, you were being sculpted, and when the time is truly right, destiny will bring love back in a way that no storm can move. There is a sacred current that runs beneath all things, a river of fate flowing unseen beneath the choices, the mistakes, the longing, and even the loss. Most cannot see it. Most think life is chaos, a game of chance, but the soul knows better. It feels the subtle pull of destiny, even when the mind doubts. Carl Jung believed that behind our conscious lives, a greater story is being written, one that uses even our wounds and delays as instruments of awakening. And so, when two souls are meant to find one another, the river of life will bend mountains, if necessary. It will orchestrate meetings, separations, transformations, and reunions in ways we could never predict or control. Destiny is not fragile. It does not break because of fear or distance. It waits, endlessly patient, because it knows it already holds what belongs to it. But destiny does not work through force. It works through invitation, through moments that whisper rather than shout, a glance across a crowded room, a conversation that feels impossibly familiar, a coincidence so intimate it feels pre-written. These are not accidents. They are echoes from a deeper plane of reality, moments when the eternal touches the temporal. Jung called these events meaningful coincidences, signs that our inner world and the outer world are moving together toward a purpose beyond our understanding. When destiny calls, it doesn't demand, it offers. It asks, gently but firmly, are you ready to remember? And if the answer is yes, if the soul dares to say yes, a door opens that no human hand can close. Yet even as destiny weaves its threads, the ego resists. The ego fears what it cannot predict, what it cannot control. It clings to what is known, even if what is known is loneliness, even if what is known is pain. And so often when true love appears, it brings with it not just joy but terror, the terror of being truly seen. True love is not comfortable, it demands growth. It asks us to face our abandonment wounds, our unworthiness stories, our old survival mechanisms that say, don't trust, don't hope, don't love. But destiny is not deterred by these defenses. It moves beneath them, through them, calling to the part of you that remembers before the pain, before the armor, before the fear, the part that still believes in love. And so, if you are in a season where it feels like everything has fallen apart, where the one you loved has slipped through your fingers, understand this: destiny is still working. Love that is real does not vanish. It transforms, it deepens, it prepares, it teaches. Carl Jung reminded us that transformation is often born from suffering, that the soul's evolution requires the death of old illusions. You are not being punished. You are being readied for a love that can meet you, not just in your beauty, but also in your brokenness, a love that does not rescue you from yourself, but stands beside you as you remember who you really are. Sometimes, the soul must walk alone before it can walk beside another. This solitude is not loneliness, it is preparation. In the silence, we confront ourselves. We meet the versions of us we abandoned for love that was never real. We face the shadows we tried to hide in other people's approval. Jung believed that to become whole, we must integrate the shadow, not reject it. That is why destiny often delays union, because love that comes too soon becomes a hiding place. And destiny refuses to let you use sacred love to avoid sacred healing. Before true love comes, you must learn to sit with yourself. Not just your light, but your wounds, your triggers, your doubts. Because the kind of love you are destined for requires truth, not performance. It asks for your soul, not your mask. When you truly begin to know yourself, your patterns, your projections, your cycles, you stop looking for someone to complete you. You begin seeking someone who will reflect your wholeness back to you. That is the love destiny prepares you for. It is not filled with chaos, confusion, or conditions. It flows with mutual recognition, safety, and transformation. It doesn't ignite your fear of abandonment, it quiets it. It doesn't feel like losing yourself. It feels like finally coming home. And yet, to get to that love, you must walk through the wilderness of your unmet needs. You must look at the ways you've settled, the ways you've chased illusions, and the ways you've feared your own light. Destiny is not just about finding the other. It's about finding the lost pieces of yourself first. Carl Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." The purpose of true love is not to keep things the same. It is to initiate transformation. But transformation requires willingness, and not everyone is willing to be changed by love. Some will meet their mirror and run. Others will stay and shatter their old selves. You cannot control which path someone takes. You can only choose your own. And if the one your soul loves has chosen to run, let them go. Love is never wasted. The seed has been planted. And if they are truly part of your destiny, they will return, not as the same person, but as someone who has walked through their fire, just like you. So don't chase what was. Wait for what is becoming. Wait for the version of them, or someone else, that is aligned with the person you are becoming. This is the sacred promise of destiny. What is yours cannot miss you, but what is not ready cannot stay. Your task is not to force love to arrive. Your task is to become the kind of soul that love can recognize when it does. And that means continuing to rise, continuing to soften, continuing to heal, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts, because pain is not the end of your love story. It is the part where your true self begins to emerge. There is a kind of love that doesn't just want your beauty. It wants your truth. It wants to know where it hurts. It wants to walk with you through the places you've kept hidden, even from yourself. This kind of love does not play games. It does not manipulate. It does not hide behind pride or silence. It shows up. It stays. It listens. But to receive that love, you must believe you are worthy of it. Carl Jung spoke of the Anima and Animus, the inner feminine and masculine energies within every soul. When these aspects are unbalanced, we seek externally what we refuse to integrate internally. We chase validation instead of embodiment. But when the Anima and Animus are in harmony, we stop chasing. We begin to attract. And what we attract then is not fantasy, it is truth. The love you seek is already seeking you. But it cannot find you until you return to yourself. The self that is not defined by rejection, the self that is not afraid to be alone, the self that knows its worth, even when unseen. When you embody that knowing, the world shifts, and destiny begins to reveal the path you couldn't see before. You begin to notice signs, dreams, subtle intuitions, messages from your soul that guide you not with logic, but with resonance. Jung called this the language of the unconscious, and the unconscious is not chaotic, it is divine. When love is aligned with your inner truth, the outer world begins to bend toward union. It does not mean there will be no challenge, but it does mean the challenge will no longer threaten your sense of self. You are not too much. You are not too broken. You are not too late. These lies were planted by pain, watered by abandonment, and reinforced by rejection. But they are not the voice of destiny. Destiny speaks in a quieter language. It does not scream through your insecurities, it whispers through your longings. It reminds you that everything you have felt was preparing you. Every heartbreak was not just a loss, it was a lesson, a refinement, a call to return. And when you answer that call, not with desperation, but with devotion, you begin to walk the path of sacred love. Not the kind sold in stories, but the kind carved through soul evolution. True love is not soft because it's fragile. It is soft because it is strong. It does not need to prove. It does not need to possess. It honors, it witnesses, it grows, and it chooses you over and over, not because it has to, but because it sees something eternal in you. When destiny calls, it doesn't always come with clarity. Sometimes it comes with disruption, but that disruption is sacred. It breaks down the walls around your heart so that you can receive what your soul already knows. And when you are ready, that love will not feel like a rescue, it will feel like a return. If you've ever felt a connection so deep it terrified you, you are not imagining it. Some people carry the vibration of home, not because you've known them in this life, but because your souls remember each other from beyond it. This is not fantasy. This is frequency. Carl Jung believed that what we call fate is often the unfolding of our inner world, projected outward. So when someone enters your life and pulls at something ancient inside you, do not dismiss it. That's not coincidence. That's memory, soul memory. And sometimes these memories come rushing back in the presence of a person who triggers not just love, but awakening. Awakening to who you are. Awakening to who you are. Awakening to who you are becoming. But even soul recognition does not guarantee a smooth journey. In fact, it often means the opposite, because when you meet someone connected to your destiny, the universe doesn't just hand them to you. It tests you, it refines you, it asks, are you ready to hold what you asked for? The pain, the distance, the misunderstanding, they're not meant to destroy the connection, but to strengthen your soul, to break you out of patterns that would sabotage it. Jung taught that individuation, the process of becoming whole, often demands separation from comfort, from ego, from illusion. So if love disappears, it's not always the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of your truest self emerging from the ashes. And this is where most give up. They confuse silence for rejection, distance for disinterest, endings for failure. But your soul knows better. Your soul knows that sometimes absence is an invitation to grow, that the space between two people can be sacred if it is filled with intention, reflection, and trust. Not every soulmate is meant to stay, but everyone is meant to shift something inside of you. Some come to heal, others to reveal, and a few come to mirror the love you forgot you deserved. Don't rush to label what they are. Just listen. Listen to the lessons their presence, and even their absence has taught you, because in those teachings, destiny is still speaking. So, if your heart still whispers their name, not with pain but with peace, hold that as a sign, not of obsession, but of resonance. Something deeper is at work, and whether this love returns or transforms into something else, trust this, it was real, it mattered, it moved something eternal within you, and that is never wasted. Carl Jung said that what we resist persists, but what we integrate transforms us. Let this love, this sacred fire, transform you. Let it burn away the false selves. Let it illuminate your path, because whether you reunite or move forward alone, you are now walking with more truth than you ever carried before. One day, you will look back and understand why things had to happen the way they did. The unanswered prayers, the missed calls, the tear-stained nights. They were not detours, they were alignment. You were not being punished, you were being positioned to receive a love that is not born out of fear or fantasy, but of truth. Carl Jung taught that the unconscious will continue to direct your life until you make it conscious. And when you do, what once looked like loss begins to look like guidance. The person who broke you, they awakened you. The one who disappeared, they taught you what you need to feel safe. Nothing was wasted, everything was used. Because destiny does not discard, it alchemizes. When destiny calls, it may not arrive with fireworks. It may come in stillness, in quiet, in a moment of peace, when you least expect it. Love, when true, does not need to scream. It resonates. You feel it in the bones, in the breath, in the way your soul exhales when they are near. And when that moment comes, when the person meant for you finally returns or arrives, you will not question it. You will not chase it. You will not fear it. You will receive it, because you will finally know who you are. That is the beauty of timing. It doesn't just deliver people, it delivers readiness. You're not just waiting for them to show up. You're waiting to become someone who can hold what you prayed for. And if you are still in the waiting, still in the ache, still in the quiet in-between, know this: You are not behind. You are becoming. Your heart is learning to beat in rhythm with the divine. The person you are becoming is already loved by someone you have yet to meet or yet to fully meet. And the more you honor your becoming, the more aligned your destiny becomes. This is not about forcing or fixing. This is about trusting and tending. Tend to your soul, tend to your dreams, tend to your healing, because destiny is not a destination. It is a frequency, and when you are in tune with it, love cannot miss you. So breathe, let go. Let it come when it's ready. The kind of love you're destined for does not require you to shrink, to pretend, or to beg. It will recognize you because you will have become recognizable to yourself. That's what destiny does. It brings you home, first to yourself, then to another, and when it happens, it won't feel like fireworks. It will feel like remembering. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments. It shows you are part of the 1% that's improving every single day.